Okay, welcome back, and hopefully you have some roto of your people, as I do here. And you can see they just kind of go off. They kind of go off the frame. And once I really only concentrated on this area where the mural actually is. So when she's over these vines over here, I'm not trying to be super precise. You can see it kind of drifts off her because there's nothing over there to put her over. The mural doesn't reach over there, so we don't have to worry about it. But by the time she gets here, I've got it nice and conforming perfectly to her outline. And same with him as well. You can see this side's off, this side's still on. I just concentrated where it was most important. And then once they're off, I was kind of using this line as sort of like an end point. Once they're kind of past there, then I don't worry about it too much and just kind of keep it with them. So hopefully you've got that same exact thing. You've got it right here in a node. I've called it people. Let's scroll down and see where we're going to put this at. So here we've got the mural over top, right? I'm going to turn that off so we can see what's going on. So right here, the mural's over top of them. Then the next merge node is what? It's the graffiti, right? Graffiti, and you can see the graffiti's over top of them as well. None of that is any good. So we're going to have to put the roto somewhere in there. So what we could do is we could add the roto in to this mat. We've already got a mat being pumped in. I'll show you two ways to do this just for the heck of it. So if we take a look at this mat, basically the mural and the graffiti is showing up everywhere that there's white. So everywhere that there's black, it's not going to show up. So if we simply add in another, I'm going to actually look at this one. So I've got a clean node line there. If I throw in a merge node right here by holding down Control, snapping it in there, and then I plug in the A into that, and then I turn this merge node into a stencil, it achieves exactly that, right? Exactly what we want. So now when we take a look at this node, we go back to the color channels. Nothing is happening. Why is that, I wonder? Huh, that's interesting. What's going on there? Oh, right. This thing, right? The window patch. So here's where the second technique will come in better, right? So you could still do this, but you'd have to kind of also subtract it out of here as well. For example, after this corner pin, or you could even do it right here, right? You could even just do plug this mask into that people, and you'll see we just need to invert it. So if you type invert and you drop that in line right there, and it works great. So that's one way to do it, right? So now you're using the same mat in two different places, and it works great. Let's go down to so you can actually see that it is working great. There you go. So now you can see it's working fine. May want to soften it a little bit, right? If we threw a blur on there and turned it up to, say, 4, something like that, maybe. It's not bad. Oh, what's going on here? What's that all about? Let's see what's happening there. Why is that happening? Oh, because the invert node does something weird with a roto. So what you've got to do, this is hard to explain. Look, if we take a look at the mask, right? Here's the mat. And now when you invert it, you would expect all of this to turn white and these people to turn black, right? But if we invert it, it does that. It leaves all this still black. Because for some reason, the inverting the roto node, it only respects the bounding box actually created by the roto node. So what you can do is you could throw a what would we drop in there? Like a reformat, maybe? Let's try. What is our project? Our project's normal HD, right? So if we go 1920 by 1080, which is there, and we throw this in here, that might do it. Might not. All right, let's unplug that, and we could try plugging it into the background. also does not work. All right, how about crop? Throw crop in there. There we go. Crop will do it. So that's what we want to see. So now when we look at this, the window is completely gone, right? If we turn off that crop, if we disable it, you can see it's still letting some stuff through. We go down here, we look at where our mural is being put over top. The blur is looking okay. I might even want to choke that in a little tiny bit. So I'm going to type tab and start typing erode for the erode filter. And just set it to like, what, 2 maybe. That'll choke it in a tiny bit, and I can even turn the blur up a little bit more. And it'll start looking, starts looking pretty good there, right? So that's not too bad. So that's one way of doing it. Which is perfectly acceptable, right? In this way, it's being piped into all the relevant things, and you can clean it up a little bit by putting an elbow in there so it all makes sense. And another way to do it, if we didn't want to do this, say I unplugged, unplugged this mask node, and I turned this off, it should go right back to how it used to look. There we go. Another way to do this would be to take the original footage, right? Because we know the original footage is clean, and simply use this roto to paste the original footage back over top of this. So let's make a little bit of space down here. I'm going to grab all these guys, kind of move them down a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to run a, let me throw this in a backdrop. There we go. And we're going to run this node. We're going to run a noodle or a wire, whatever you want to call these things. We're going to run it all the way down here to after this, where we're going to put another merge node. Actually, we can just select this one and hit M. It should drop it right in line. And we've got that A input right there. So if you drag this up here and plug that in, it's going to be running in the same straight line. It's kind of confusing. So what I like to do to make it easier to understand what's happening is run a line off of this and down, kind of to the side. So if you hold down Control, you get your little elbows. I'm going to drag one out, plug that back in. Now I've got a perfect little elbow, and you can even make it a little cleaner looking by doing this kind of thing. There we go. Still got just one noodle coming off of the main thing, and then you can drag this down and do this. This is just how I organize things, my own personal preferences. You organize things however you like. And there we go. We've got this right down here where we can plug this right back in. And now what happened here, right? It just got brighter, but we can still see the mural. Well, that's because we don't have an alpha channel. So what we need is a solid alpha channel. And I think we've done it a few times up here where we've used the shuffle node to kind of mix things around a little bit as far as the channels go. So let's do that again. Let's go ahead and hit tab, start typing shuffle, and throw that in with by holding Control. And I even delete that guy now because this guy kind of takes its place. And for the alpha channel, we're just going to go 1. So now when you look at this, it's the main footage with a full alpha channel. So when you look at this last merge now and you turn it off and on, it's just putting the footage completely back over top. And then all you got to do is take your roto, and I'm going to keep all this, I'm going to copy these, Control copy. I'm going to keep the erode and the blur because those were dialed in kind of nicely. Drag it down here and paste it right here. Is it going to paste? There we go. And just plug that into the mask. And it pops right over. So that's another way to do it. So this way is a little bit easier, a little bit more organized just because it's happening in one place. But you know, this way kind of cuts it out as you go. This way kind of just slaps it back over top at the end. So whichever way works for you, feel free. And then we've got all of our normal stuff in here. We've got our bloom. We've got all of our style looks. And we've got our other style stuff down here. Another thing we can do, well, we don't want to do that actually. We were using this this roto to hold out their skin for this color effect, right? We were gonna we were kind of, how can we do this? Oh, we can use that people roto. Let's use that people roto. All right, grab that and control copy that. And let's go down here. So, and paste it again right here. And we can get rid of this roto. That roto is from the other shot. We don't need it. Plug in this one and delete this guy. So now when we look at our chroma key thing we set up, and we look at the alpha, and we look at this, now we've got exactly what we wanted, right? We've got their skin being held out again. Is it going to update? Let's go. Come on. Oh, really? What's going on now? Ugh. What is going on here? Did I break something completely? There we go. Let me go back here. Go back a few more frames. Like what there? Maybe I'm trying to get him right over top of that. Come on, update. See, it's getting a little bit slower as we get more. You can see these yellow boxes too. Those yellow boxes are telling you what it's calculating. So now if we take a look at this and we plug this in, it should hold out their skin tones a bit, right? So that looks a lot better. All we needed was that updated roto. And again, you're going to want to blur this a bit, maybe like 6 again, or maybe even a little bit more on this one, 7 or 8, something like that. But now we've retained their skin tones in this crazy blue environment, which is exactly what we wanted. Take a look at our letterbox. Everything's looking pretty good. And there you go. You are done again. That's how we do. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why it's not updating down here, but it should. Weird. I don't know what in the world. What in the world? It might be. I don't know. I don't know what it might be at all. All right, we look here. Something's going wrong in here. Don't know what. Alpha. 1. Oh, it's that blur again, right? The blur. Is it? That's what's doing it. What is going on with that? Something's totally up with that blur, right? If I disable this, everything will still work just fine, right? That's really weird. It's a weird buggy blur thing. I don't know what's going on. Remember, it was up to like 1,000 before and it was breaking, so we set it to 700. Right. If I do this to like 600. All right, 700. Breaks. What in the world? 650. That's fine. All right, let's go with 650 then. Delete that. No idea what's going on there. Anyway, there we go. Still got our flare coming in a little bit, so that's good. And we're done. So I'm going to leave the other 2 shots to you. The other 2 shots don't really have any kind of an effect in it. What is that? Shot 1 and 3, the odd ones. But they do need this style effect. They will need the rotos for the actors to hold out their skin, for the color correction. I will leave that to you to put in. I'm giving you the footage. I've already given you the knowledge how to do that. So don't forget to save often and plug all that stuff in. And I think we're done. I think we've made a pretty cool shot. This is exactly what I did on The Last Ship, that TV show. So this doesn't get any more real than this kind of tutorial. So this is exactly the kind of thing we do at our job every day. Thanks for liking it. Thanks for checking it out. And please, leave comments, send me feedback, all that kind of stuff. I've put a donate button on the site now. So if you feel like pitching in, it's certainly helpful. Everything that I ever do get from this will certainly just go right back into it. I have a day job, of course, so anything that I make off the site is just directly for the site. So yeah, thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you in the next one.